Hello everyone, welcome to the Distilling Insight YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about Microsoft Word for beginners. Please, this is actually strictly for beginners. So Microsoft Word basically is just a document creation software that is being used to create documents and things that we see on and offline. Now, how do you access your Microsoft Word? This is an interface of the Microsoft Word. If you just come to the search icon and you search for word, as you can see on the screen, the word that you're searching for, once you double click it, it shows this platform. This is for blank documents. These are documents that has been typed previously and you can get more template from here, but we want to pick on the blank document because that's our focus for today. So I'll be removing one of them because I already opened one at the beginning of the class. So now for the Microsoft document, what we'll be looking at now is the first thing at the ribbon. The ribbon. Now the ribbon starts with file. When we talk about file, this comprises of, if you want to open a new document, like you can see the blank sheet, and that's that. And the next thing is the open, which gives you the liberty to access file, the folder you want to save, or probably you want to open a new document that has been previously saved. That's when you need open. So you can go to browse. From this browse, you see several documents that you can open from this angle. These are Word documents. These are Word documents. By the time you double click any of them, you'll be able to access them. And that's for the open. You can also search for informations and save. This save is for a document that have not been saved before. For example, when we come to this place, you can see document Word. Now, if you come to this end and you click on save, and you click on save like this, it brings out this part. This part means you are clicking browse. Once you click on browse and you, let's assume we want to save on download. When you want to save on download, you just input this. I will say MS Word beginner class. Beginner class 1. So MS Word beginner class 1, by the time we click on save, you realize that this has been changed from the previous document 1. It has been changed to MS Word beginner class 1. At this point, I also want to make you realize that this part, which is the quick toolbar of the Microsoft Word, this icon is for save. If you click on this icon after each time you update this document, let's assume we're updating the documents with I am in a beginner's class. Now by the time you see this, that you now click on this icon, it saves it automatically. This icon here is the undo, meaning you want to go back to what it was previously. Now when I click it, you see that it removed the class and the s. When I click it again, it removes this. When I click it, is actually undoing what has been done. Now you realize that it has activated another icon here. This icon is redo. Redo means you want to bring it back. You want it to resurface what you've done before. You want it to resurface each time that I click, it's resurfacing. You can see it has bring back what we are talking about. So this is undo. You see it's no longer there because it has been done with. So that's that. If you want to check other functions, and you can use this to even include some of those functions there at the top. If you want to include new, you realize that this is the icon for new. If you want to include open, this is the folder that shows for open. If you want to include draw table, this is the icon that shows for draw table. But this is just a quick toolbar. So I don't want all of that. I just want little things to be there, like the things that have been highlighted. Now, if I click on this, it's auto save. Now, because I'm not online and it's not permitting me to auto save, I would need to always click on Ctrl S or to just click on this save icon. Now, going back to where we were before, we can save as. This save as is different from save in the sense that the save as means this document that has been previously saved as MS beginner class. Anytime I press save here, it will just take me back here, meaning it's still serving the same purpose with this. However, if we want to save this same document with some another name entirely, that's when we need to go to the save as. So when you click on the save as, and you come to browse, you can see it's giving us the option like we were saving now. And I want to save under the document. I want to save it as Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word Beginner Class 2. So Microsoft Word Beginner Class 2, you see that it has changed the title at the top to Microsoft Word Beginner Class 2. So that is the function of the save as. Another thing is that we can save as PDF. We can save as PDF. Now, we can just convert this to PDF, or preferably, when we come under Save As, we can pick to browse, and at this point, you can select any of the things you want. You can save as the lower version of Microsoft Word. You can save as macro-enabled document. That will be taught in the later part. You can also save as PDF, which is what I've just shown. Now, I want to save as PDF under the download. So I'm going to be picking this. So saving as PDF, you see that it's going to convert this Microsoft Word to a PDF. Now it has converted to a PDF, and if we go to our download, we automatically see this document there, that this Microsoft Word document has been saved as PDF. So automatically you can just create a Microsoft Word and look at it. The first thing we save, the second, the third, and we move on in that manner. Now, moving forward, after the file on the ribbon, the home part of the ribbon is having some functions that are very important. Now let's move with this in the sense that if you want to highlight all of these things that are written, now okay, is that you hold on the mouse and copy all of this. That is how to highlight what you have done. Alternatively, you can use a shortcut, which is Control A. Control plus A. Control, you press Control down and you click on A, means to highlight everything. Now when you highlight, this paste here will not be able to use it until we've copied something. So look at this icon under the clipboard. I'll be using the cut first. If I should use cut, if I should cut this content by clicking on this place, you can see it's eliminated. By the time I click on paste, it is returning it back there. Now, if I should copy all of these documents once again, and I copy, this is the icon for copy. By the time I copy, I can as well decide to paste it on the second line. I also paste, and that is that. And this is just a format paint. And this format paint, when you highlight this and you click on the format paint, you have something of that nature. You can you can bring up the clipboard back and just for you to expand it. After that is the font column. The font column in Microsoft Word, before you can use bold or most of the things here, you need to highlight the content you want to work with. Now this place is where you see the fonts that are of different types. Now you can change fonts, like you realize that this thing is changing. The upper one is different from the bottom, because I've highlighted the upper one, and by the time I click here, you can see the font is changed. The font has also changed. The font has changed. The font's change. The font is changing. So if you want to change fonts, this is where you come after highlighting the content you want to change the font. If you also want to change the size of what you've actually written, this is size 20. You can make it bigger, you can make it lower. That is that. Another thing is that you can bold this thing, this lettering that you have highlighted by clicking on this icon, which is the B. You can also italize it by clicking on the I. You can click on underline by clicking on that. Now, another important thing is that let's quickly run through something. To revert this back, you can click on Control I. To revert the B, let's just eliminate this. To revert the B, you can click on Control B. Now, to revert the underline, you can also click on, let me just click on this to revert it, then this to revert the underline. Now, I just want to show us another important thing about the underline. Like if you have your Naira and you want to put a line in order to make it look like Naira, you have other options in this underline. By the time you click down, look at the several options you have for the underline. You can decide to make a double underline and the likes. However, you can go to more underline. Here you will realize that you are having more options of what you can do with underline. You can double strike this. By the time you double strike this, look at what is showing here. Then you say okay. You see that this has changed to a Naira having a double strike. And this can also just be single strike like that. And if you want something else more than that, you can make this a subscript, meaning to be at the bottom, a lower. You can also make it a superscript to be at the top. And you can also, let me remove the strike through. You can make it cap, and you can make it small cap, and you can make it hidden. You can make any of the informations here as you so wish. Now, moving forward, the next thing is to understand what this aspect of the font section are used for. You remember we spoke about the superscript and the subscript. Now, let's assume we are talking about oxygen. Oxygen is in this nature, is always written in this manner. Now, if you highlight these two because it's going to be a subscript, you pick up this and you click on this superscript. You realize that this is for superscript. After highlighting that, then this is for subscript after highlighting these two. You can also return them by clicking on this after the highlight and bring them back also. After this, then you click on this to bring it back as well. Now, the shortcut for this is that you can click on Ctrl plus Shift, Ctrl Shift plus will make it the superscript. For the subscript is Ctrl Shift minus, meaning Ctrl Shift plus and Ctrl Shift minus, they are beside each other. So that is how you can get the subscript and the superscript. Now, moving forward, the next thing is you can decide to pick up this and make it an uppercase. I mean, you want to make all you've written an uppercase. This, by the time you click this, you see it has changed everything to a capital letter. And by the time you click on this, the sentence case is going to make the first letter a capital letter. By the time you pick on lowercase, all of the letterings will be in small letter. By the time you pick on the capitalize each word, you can see each word is being capitalized. The next thing is the toggle case, meaning the first letter will be in small letter, the upper one will be. Now, I want to leave it in the sentence case in order for it to be like this as we move forward with other things that we're doing. Now, if you want to increase the font size, you can increase it with this. And if you want to reduce the font size, you can reduce it with this, as you can see. Now, moving forward, this is just like a design of smart art, where you can use the designs of the letterings in order for it to appear the way you want it in this manner. Now, the next thing after this is that we'll be moving to the paragraph under home. We'll be moving to the paragraph section. Now, the paragraph section, how I want to quickly look out for some documents in order for us to be able to, in order for us to get something that we'll be able to type. So let me just use this word that they have used here. Let me just use this. So I'll be copying all of these words and pasting in our own record what we are using. Okay. So now I'm pasting all of this word here. I just want it to appear as text. That's why I'm picking on keep text only when it gave me that. So keep text only. Now, we already have this document in the paragraphing section. For the paragraphing section, if we want to bullet a point, all we need to do is to, let's assume these are bullets of points. Don't worry about the whole thing. I'm just trying to teach bulleting. Okay, so let's assume these three are just bulleted points. So all I need to do is to select it. Under the paragraph, you can use this as a bullet. You can use this as the bullet. You can use this as the bullet. You can use this, any of these as the bullet in order to beautify your work. And if you want to use numbering, you can use the numbering as this. You can use the numbering as any of these, either the Roman numeral or the Arabic numeral. Now, if we don't really, I want to revert it back to what it was in order to enhance the understanding of what I'm about to explain. Now, look at this document. If you click on this icon here, you realize that I'm reverting it. Look at this space, look at this space, look at this space. If you click on this icon here, is to justify, meaning it will make sure that the document starts from the left and ends on the right, and making it equal of spaces in between. That's to justify. Now the shortcut for that is Ctrl J. Now we can also make it to come at the right side. To come at the right side, we are saying we are clicking on this, and that makes it come to the right side. The next thing, if we want to centralize it, we'll click on this, then it's centralized. Now the next thing is we want to make it to align left. We click on this and it aligns left, which is where we were coming from. Now if we want to check the line spacing, this is the line spacing. The line spacing can be 1.5, can be 2.0, can be 2.5, can be 3.0. Let's make it 1.5 preferably. Now you realize that the line spacing differ from where we were coming from before. So just for emphasis sake, look at where we're coming from. Now we want to revert it back to 1.5. So this is the line spacing. Now this is for indent. If you want to increase indent, meaning you want to create a paragraph for your work, now preferably you want to put it here, and you can see it's actually creating indents, creating paragraphing for your work. Now if you use the tab on the keyboard, you can see that it moves it just the way you create the paragraph for this, and that's all about the indent. Now this is just for you to check, to create a color, a background color for each of the things you're writing. If you want to create a background color like this, now it is highlighted. Another thing is that if you want to create a border, this can help you create a border around what you are actually creating. Now, this is how to create a border. With this, you've created a border around this, and that's all. Now, the next thing, I'll be eliminating this border, is that if you want to create things to be in ascending or descending order, probably you're having references that you want to be in ascending or descending order. Let me also quickly use this. Let me just use this as an example, that we want things to be arranged in ascending and descending order. So if we have just this sentence that we've splitted and we want it to be arranged in ascending order, what you need to do is to highlight all of this. You click on this and it shows you that the paragraphs, the text, do you want it in ascending order? If you click on OK, you realize that this has changed. A before O before T before W. And if you want it in descending order, you pick on this and you submit OK. With this, you also have it in descending order. So, but I just want to revert back to where we're coming from, and we already have that. So that's how to make ascending and descending order. Now, moving forward, each of these styles talks about the normal no spacing, meaning if you have your document in this manner, this is the normal spacing. The no spacing, you can see the way it's comboed them together. Heading, if you are using heading, you can even explode more on it in order for you to see more options of styling when you are typing in Microsoft Word. Furthermore, this is to find, meaning if you want to search for something in Microsoft Office, you can come here and click on find. Now, when you click on find, let me look for Go. By the time you click on Go and you try to search for Go, it's going to give you the result of what is available. Go is not among the word in the lecturing, so that's why I use because I can see use here. Now it's telling me that use is having two results, 1 and 2. Now if I want to just pick on U, now U is having 12 results. You can see U. Now that is for find. If you want to click on replace, replace here means you have to find something then replace. So what do you want to replace? Maybe I want to replace U with high. Now you remember U before, so just to have a glance at what we are talking about, we are having U here. Under this year we have U, all of the U. So let's see replace all. So now that I say replace all, it says all done. We have replaced 12, we have made 12 replacements. Now look at the you can use is now I can use. This your has turned to I have. Everything you can easily change the formatting has turned to I can easily change the formatting. So with that, you can easily replace documents in Microsoft Word. So that's how to just replace documents in Microsoft Word. So I've just reverted back, and that is that. Moving forward, the next thing in the reading section is the insert icon. Under the insert icon, we're having several options of the cover page in which you can use to design a cover page for your document, blank page, break page. Now this break page, you can easily make use of it in order for you to be able to create things in between documents. Maybe you want to move from landscape to portrait, from portrait to landscape. Now you realize that this document has been changed to landscape by the break page. By the time I'm clicking it back, it reverts back to portrait. You realize that the break page, let me take it back. Now, the break page is telling us that at this point where the cursor is blinking, that's where the page should be broken. So it moves every other text to the next page. Now it moves it to the next page, and with this, when I click it again, it moves it to another page. By the time I close this gap, then that's also when you want to break a page, meaning you want to separate this section from another section, you go to the last part of the section, then you click on this break page. You see that it moves to a new document. Now moving forward, we can create a table in Microsoft Excel, in Microsoft Word. How do we create a table? We can either click on this to insert table. Now please note, this is talking about the column, this is talking about the row, this is talking about the column. So this column, instead of you inserting table, draw table, or Excel spreadsheet, you can just use this. If you know the number of rows and column you want to create, you can just use this. By this, you can see that it's already forming the table on the screen. Once you click it, you have your table and you are good to go. Alternatively, under the insert, you can decide that this table you want to draw it. If you want to draw the table, you're having something of this nature. From there, you have, let's assume it's just a 3-column 2 rows table. So you're having this, then you're having this. So you already have your table 2, and you can erase anything you don't really want, and you can just copy, you can just cut the table off. Now moving forward, you can add pictures to your Microsoft Word. Like if I want to pick picture from this device, I can just go ahead, pick one of the pictures, then use it and upload. You can use icon, 3D model, the smart art I was talking about then. You can also use smart art in terms of the design. This, you can use the list, you can use the cycle, you can use, if you want to pick this, now you have the text, you have each thing. Probably you're explaining water cycle, or you are explaining something that is interrelated, and you can see the cycle, the way it moves from the beginning to the end, maybe the life cycle of an animal or something. You can do that with a smart art. Now under the insert, you have charts where you can actually bring up things up. Online videos can be communicated and the likes. Under the insert, you can also use the header. What does the header do? Header is actually at the top of the document. Header is at the top of the document. Now, if you click on this, you realize that it's now highlights this, meaning you just have, maybe you want the header to be distilling insights, distilling insights. Now this distilling insight, I want the size to be as large as this. Then I want the fonts to be something more unique. So the size is too much. Then I can bring it to the middle. You can see what we are talking about. This is the header of distilling insight. Now under the insert as well, you can see this header and footer that it has highlighted, but I won't go through that route. Now this is footer. This is footer. Now let's say edit footer. Footer is at the bottom. Footer is at the bottom. Now let's say experience distilling insights real time. So let's assume that our slogan is distilling insights real time. Now with this, I can just italize this just the way I've taught you. I can italize this, enhance the write-up. I can even change this to something that is coy, something like this. You can see it's getting more interesting. What we are doing is getting more interesting. It's getting more clearer, something more visible, something you will appreciate more. Now under the insert, you can do page numbering. Now the page numbering can either be at the top in which you can select any of these, or it can be at the bottom. Usually at the bottom. If you want to pick, you can pick the one at the center. Let's pick this. Now you can see the page number is 1. Here is 1. And with that, you already know. Let me close this header and footer, and you see what we are actually doing. Now we already have the Distilling Insights there at the top. Now if you double click on this, it can also show you the, so this is the Distilling Insights. We want to insert page number. The page number we are inserting, we want it to be at the bottom in the middle, right? And with that, we already have the page number written, but we want our footer to be present. So you can see, by the time you close the footer and the header, you can see the Distilling Insight at the top, the Distilling Insight Real Time, and this one is still there, which is the page number. Now, moving forward, we have the word arts. This that was shown the other time is actually word art, not smart art. Is the word art. It gives the text effect and topography. Now the insert is talking about this word art. You can see it's the same with what was shown under the home icon. We have the signature line, we have date and time options, we have object options. Now for the equation in insert, what do you use the equation for? You don't need, when you want to write equation like this, you don't need to stress yourself in order to write equations like this. You want to write the almighty formula, the mighty formula as it's being called, for quadratic equation. Now what you just need to do is to click on the equation. Once you click on equation, it brings the tab in this manner. The tab it brings up. Now what we want to do is we want to write a formula for the mighty formula in quadratic equation. So the formula basically is numerator and denominator. So you pick on this. When you pick on this, it's telling us options of what we can do with it. We are picking this because the first thing is we are having it to be minus b. Then it's saying plus or minus. Look at plus or minus here. You pick on plus or minus. The next thing is a square root. A square root. Then you come back to pick this square root. This. Then in that square root, we are having, is it b square now? So if it is b square, you are still coming here in order to speak this, which will be b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So with the equation, we've been able to repeat this. Please note, this formula is just being done with the equation under the insert icon. We can also pick on symbols. Symbols plus or minus, not equal to, greater than or equal to, epsilon, multiplication sign, beta sign, theta, pi rather, pi. We have the summation sign and everything. This is the micro sign and much more. The next thing is the design. The design. This design, you can pick up several things from it. So I won't be going through the page background because there is a YouTube video that is on our platform that speaks on watermark, page color, page border. So I will just limit myself. You can refer to that video. I won't be doing a repetition of that. The next thing is the layout. The layout. For the layout, we are having several things whereby you can create margin. This tells you the boundary of what the Excel sheet you are making use of. Now this orientation talks about if you want your document to be in landscape, which is it is now, or you want it to be in portrait, and which it turns back to currently. Now, this size can be of different measures, whether you want a ledger, A4, A3, as you so want it, or letter. Now, I know you've been seeing your newspaper and you've been wondering how they have been typing in several columns. So if you want to convert what you have written in this manner to column, all you just need to do is to come to columns. Once you click on column, if you pick on two column, you can see it has turned the write up to a two column write up. If you want it to be three columns, you see it has make it a three column write up. If you want it to be the left, meaning this left side will be smaller than this, you can see it has made it that way. And if you want it to be on the right, in which it is done, you can also justify this in order for it to look more beautiful. Now, with that, you can also move forward. More columns option, you can have it here. Let's assume we want 5 columns. Now you can see 5 columns, and this is similar to the way you see your newspaper that are being used, that are being sold on a daily basis to everyone. So I just want to revert back to where we are coming from, and this is what we are having. Now, another thing is that I've also done a video on these breaks, how to convert between portrait and landscape. So you need to go through that on the YouTube channel, browse through and pick up that for learning. Now for referencing, this is actually utilized when you are typing your project and you're actually using something. I won't be going details because this is for beginners. And this mailing part is where you get people to merge up several documents. Like you have people you want to send similar things to that are having little parameters that differs. You can merge them up as a mail merge and you work with this. Now review. This review, if like lecturers use it a lot, and even use yourself, you can use it. If this document is actually a document that has been sent to me to correct, what I need to do first is that I'm going to click on track changes. So once I click on track changes, by the time I touch anything here and I'm sending to the student, that this, you can see that it has brought up this, and with that the student know that I've actually touched something there. I've actually touched something there. Another thing that you can do here is that you can add comments. Let me add comments, meaning I'm saying item shouldn't have been mentioned. Now, items shouldn't have been mentioned. Now, with this word of items shouldn't have been mentioned, by the time I save and I send to my students, they will be able to see what comment I've made with respect to the document that was sent to me to review. So this place can be used for several things, but we are not going to be digging deep because we are talking about the beginners class. Now, moving forward to the view. For the view, you can also have some layout here in the view section. Basically, for beginners, you can just have your ruler. The ruler that you are seeing here, the reason you are seeing it here is because it has been clicked under view. If I should uncheck this, you can see that there is no ruler that appears anymore. If I should pick on this, you see that the ruler is now appearing. Grid line also, you can see that there is now a grid line at the back of these documents. Maybe you want to draw a coordinate or something. By the time I remove that, that is gone. Now look at the navigation pane that we can also use to do search is also here. If you don't want it, you can also eliminate it. This page movement, you can see this page movement that I've just clicked means instead of us moving up to down, I will just be moving towards the right, to the right, to the side, right, left, but I'll prefer moving up and down like we have it here. So for the macro is also for advanced switch windows and every other thing. So the next thing, this Acrobat is just new on Excel and is for few things, and for help in case we need to contact the help center. So basically these are the introductory aspect of Microsoft Word. If you want to create your document, I'll advise you lay hold upon some applications that will help you to type fast in order to be able to generate your documents, and try as much as possible to lay your hands on everything that has been discussed. And from Distilling Insights, if you know this video has been impactful onto you as a beginner in the Microsoft Word environment, I want you to give it a thumbs up, share with your friend that is struggling with understanding basic icons and things in Microsoft Word and how to use them, and always look out for our videos by clicking on the subscribe icon to get notification as we'll be distilling more and more insight as time goes on. From Distilling Insight, once again, we say thank you and bye bye.